And now, here is Wonder Woman and Low Vision Beauty.
Hello, and welcome to Low Vision Beauty. I'm Wonder Woman, your legally blind beauty instructor. If you want to learn more about my background, I invite you to watch my welcome video. That's the very first one. Today is going to be about brushless beauty. Wait, what? Brushless? But Wonder Woman, I know what you're thinking. Wonder Woman, aren't brushes a major part of the cosmetic industry? Right you are. However, brushes aren't always in everyone's possession for one reason or another. Perhaps with your particular issues regarding either eyes or sensitivity on the face, brushes may not be comfortable, or you may not have found brushes that are comfortable for you to use, and we're going to cover that in a future video. So today we are going to focus on alternatives to using brushes to have the same outcome or similar that you see on other beauty videos. That's like, wow, you know, they're so skilled, they're so talented, I wish I could do that. Well, stop wishing, because we are going to do it our way, meaning the way we can do it, because that's what my platform is about. It's about what we can do, enough about what we cannot do. We find that out the hard way often enough. So anyway, what I'm doing today, I am using the Bare Minerals Original Foundation. Now my color, who cares, but it's 02 Fair Ivory. I have been a fan of Bare Minerals for a number of years, partly because I have sensitive skin, and I totally agree with the non-chemical sunscreen. You can use this on a daily basis, and the company claims that you can even sleep in it. That's how healthy it is for the skin. Now, back to the good part. The TJ Maxx price was $6.99. So, $6.99 for this. We're going to apply it with this handy dandy Real Techniques sponge that I'm extremely impressed with. And this is specifically made for powder. Notice the edge that is cut right here, very soft. I would say it's ergonomically correct, shaped like an egg, so whether you're left or right-handed, it should be comfortable. I, for one, have a lot of experience with sponges as well, so for me to say I'm impressed with this, it counts for something. There's also a slightly pointed end here, so if you want to use it to get, say, in the corners of the eyes. Okay, let's get to the good stuff, and that's the application. So, everything is the same, but you know I'm going to say it, hashtag same but different, that's my mantra. The same part is we are going to prepare to use the foundation the same way. The different part is the method in terms of the technique with the sponge. So let's get started, shall we? So to use this type of product, I've already opened it up. I've been using this one. This is not a brand new one. So I've removed the inner cap that protects it from spilling all over. Okay, it's tightly capped. I'm turning it over. Tap, 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 just like I normally would. I give it a few taps. Now I'm going to open the lid this normally right side up, so that the product is, there's some in the cap and there's also still some in the jar. Very carefully, because most of us watching this channel are visually impaired. I myself, being legally blind, I use contrast to see what I'm doing. So I have a white napkin here with my water bottle on it. Here we go. Against this dark table. So that makes it a little easier to see what I'm doing in retrospect to preventing accidents. Okay, so I'm resting the jar against the lid, so I know I'm not just pouring it out randomly onto the floor or on my lap where it doesn't belong. So I've made contact, the jar to the lid, and I'm going to slowly pour the jar, tapping lightly so that the product stays in the lid. Always having contact with both pieces. Alright, I'm satisfied with that for a start for now. You don't need very much. That's another claim of the company, which I agree with. Because it's so pigment rich, it's literally ground pigment. Minerals are naturally pigmented, so grounding it up into a powder form, it's just such a fabulous concept. Alright, here we go. Alrighty, the smooth flat end of the sponge is going to sit in the lid as if it were a brush, but this is Brushless Beauty. And we're going to lightly swirl, because the instructions for this company, it's kind of like a slogan really, is swirl, tap, and buff. Alright, we're going to do that. We're swirling, we're tapping, and now we're going to buff. Nothing else has to change. Now, if this were a brush, we would be swirling it in circular motions. That's cool, I get it, but this isn't a brush, so now what? Well, we're going to, let's get the hair behind the ears and get real serious now. Uh-oh, she's not playing now. Alright, I like to go in just different directions. So starting from the middle of the face, where you first apply the product, when it's initially made contact with the applicator, is where the bulk of the product will be, meaning that's where the heaviest application is going to be. I, for one, need it in the center of the face, where I have a tendency to be red or redder, and work my way out from there. So I'm not going to start on the nose. You'll see. I'm starting on the inner, next to the nose, outward. Alright, let's just do it. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to make contact, and lightly, slowly, carefully, just stroke the face with the sponge. I am not losing contact with the face, and the reason for that is I don't want the powder to fall off. So I'm going up and down, softly. I could go faster, but I want to give you the benefit of real life, real speed, also while I'm talking. Okay, now, you want to finish on a downward motion, because hair on the face grows downward. You have hair all over the body. It's just different in texture and color and blah, 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 blah. Alright, so here we go. Now, to make sure that I don't have any striping or anything like that, that's why I never lose contact with the face. I don't have to remember, wait, did I skip a spot? How can I tell? So, to make double sure, extra sure, whatever, now I'm going to go across. Very lightly, back and forth, back and forth. So I feel pretty confident that I've covered that whole cheek area. Now I'm going to swipe under the jaw. I wish I had more of a curve in the jaw, but we can wish, can't we? Alright, so easy enough, right? Nice and soft and smooth. I would say this finish is just as good as when I use the brush. Alright, so let's do the other side. I'm a little bit generous with my product. That's just the way I am. And, you know, did you notice when I did this with the sponge? No clouds of minerals, no clouds of product that often happens when you're kicking up the brush. Nice bonus there. All right, so let's move on. Let's do some more. I'm going to start from the beginning, close the cap, turn it over, tap, 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 tap. Turn it back over, unscrew the cap, so that I get everything that I tapped out. I do not lose contact with the jar to the lid. Tip the jar over into the lid, so to speak, lightly tapping the jar so that the product, there's a little more there. Okay, now I can put this down. Put the soft side, the smooth side of the sponge into the lid. Swirl. Tap. Now we're going to buff. So we're not going against the grain of the company in terms of their instructions. We're adapting it to what we have, what we choose, what we prefer. So we're modifying. I'm not a rebellious person. I'm not saying take the rules and break them. Rules are important. Rules are for safety. But in this case, if a brush isn't available, and this, I will say the brushes in this company are a little pricey. It is a high-end company. It may not be a priority for you. It's totally okay. It's about making the best of what you have, what is comfortable for you to purchase. Because I know as a disabled person, yes, I work part-time, but I'm limited in how much I can work and how much I can earn. So I want to spend my beauty dollars carefully. I'm sure you do too. All right, let's get on with it. So again, starting from the center of the face, not the nose, but you know what I mean, the inner part of the cheek. Okay, lightly pressing so that the product makes contact with the skin. And down we go, because that's where the largest pores are. And we'll talk about pores and what they do in a more nitty-gritty video. Let's just have fun doing what we're doing right here. So again, and I'm going to go faster on the forehead and the nose and the chin so that you're not asleep, or you might be by now. So, you see? I never lose contact with my face. I know where I've been and where I haven't been with the sponge. There we go. So you see how smooth and even that is? Alright, so let's get on with the show so that this doesn't take forever. And if you fell asleep already, wake up. Alright, I promise we're going to go a little faster now. Because, you know, it doesn't have to take forever. So here we go. Not going to talk, I'm just going to do. Yes, I've learned to do this on both ways, both the right side and left side. The trick is being careful. Swirl, tap, buff, and let's do it. Starting from the middle of the chin, I'm lightly pressing, and then I let go of the pressure and sweep up, and up, and up, and out, and out, and out, and out. Okay, now remember the pointed side I was pointing out to you just a moment ago? I would say the rocket tip of the sponge. It's kind of cool, huh? Alright. I do one section of the face at a time, even with liquid. It's about focus and concentration. When you don't have a lot of vision to work with and you have to pay attention with your other senses, just makes sense. Don't try to accomplish everything at one time. It's focus on one area at a time. Okay. Alright, let's see now. Let's do the upper lip. Down, I'm right under the nostril and down. Definitely can feel where I am. Now remember I talked about the pointed end? This curves around the lip nicely. Okay, here's the pointed end. In the beauty world, it's the Cupid's bow. Let's just go with that. So in the Cupid's bow, I'm just going to lightly buff that just to make sure nothing is settled. All right, moving on, moving on, moving on. Let's wrap this up because we have more to do. Swirl, tap, buff. Now, look how fast I can go now. I'm not pressing hard. Yes, I'm picking up the sponge from the nose because the nose has so many curves because of the shape that there are at points where I have to pick up the sponge and place it back down. But the nose, it's a little easier to feel and tell where you've been and where you haven't been. Oh, by the way, I do not have anything on my eyebrows right now. I wear powder foundation almost daily because of where I live. It's hot and humid and it's necessary. So here we go. From the center of the forehead, I'm striping down and up, down and up, down and up, and down over the temple. Back to the center, down and up, down and up, down and up, and down the temple. We are done. Done with the face. I'm just smoothing it over. Yay. I'm happy with that. Alrighty. I'm just here to show you that applying makeup is even possible for visually impaired, legally blind, just about sightless women. We can do it. So this is just to give you an idea of what's to come in future videos, if you're not totally bored by now. Thank you for visiting with me again today. This concludes part 1 of Brushless Beauty for the Face. That covered the complexion. In part 2, coming up soon, we will cover blush application, including some contouring. Yes! So, anyway, thanks again, and I'd like to remind you of my personal slogan, Wanda Woman, hashtag same but different. Also, I'd like to review with you again the definitions of what low vision is and what legally blind means. Until next time, take care and may God bless.